Please be seated. Good morning. I am Sadie Himmett, a senior class representative, along with our class president, Quinn McGonigal, and our other representatives, Maggie Cronin-Smith, Cora Emsley, and Tori Wolf. We would like to welcome family, friends, and the class of 2019 to our commencement ceremony. It is our pleasure to introduce all of our guests sitting on the stage. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Guests, please stand as we read your name. Beginning with our Board of Education, Board President, Christophe Fevre, Board Vice President, Rob Pedersen, Christian Draper, DJ Anderson, Naomi Johnson, Carolyn Reed, our Superintendent, Dr. Sandra Smizer, Assistant Superintendents, Mr. Scott Nielsen, and Dr. Todd Lambert.
Our Principal, Dr. Craig Woodall, Assistant Principals, Mr. Tim Brule, Ms. Karen Bennett, Ms. Tyler Nickel, and Mr. Sean Terry. Our diploma name readers, as selected by the senior class, are Mr. Josh Ring and Ms. Amy White, who will be joined by Ms. Bennett, Ms. Nickel, and Mr. Brule. Our speaker, Mr. Kurt Knierim, our torchbearer, CJ Hendry, the honor staff, who are being recognized as a special part of our class and our success, selected by administration and certified staff, Mr. Robert Papp, selected by classified staff, Ms. Junko Yatsui, selected by the senior class, Ms. Ginny Cox and Ms. Diana Ackerman. Last and certainly not least, the class sponsors for the class of 2019, Ms. Gina DeFelice, Ms. Laura Cronin, Ms. Missy Wolf, Mr. Kyle Brown, and Mr. Kurt Knierim. Please give these people a round of applause. Now, please rise as we sing our alma mater.
Okay, found the paper. Okay, please welcome our principal, Dr. Craig Woodall.
Please be seated. Students, families, community, I appreciate you taking the time to join us for the 46th graduation ceremony of Rocky Mountain High School. Seniors, take a minute and look around. Just soak this up for a second. Look at all these people here to celebrate you. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Graduation is such an exciting time. A time to look back on what was accomplished, but also balanced with looking forward. I imagine that many of you are tired of answering the question, hey, what's your plan next year? What are you going to do in the future? What are you going to be when you grow up? I'm officially, in front of mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, giving you permission to not know exactly what your future holds. I'm not entirely sure if I know what I want to be when I grow up. I say that because, truthfully, I've only briefly left high school since I entered as a ninth grader in 1987, and that was to attend college, so I still feel I'm trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up, or eventually leave high school. But I've been working on that idea a little longer than you, so now I have a new answer. I thought for a while, teacher, coach, that was what it was all about. Then, hey, maybe a principal. Eventually, maybe a superintendent when I grow up. I'm still not sure. But I'm reminded of a story I heard about a room full of elementary students. The teacher was asking the students, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she got the standard answers you would expect: teacher, firefighter, lawyer, mermaid, construction worker, nurse, doctor. Teacher called on the student in the back that hadn't answered yet. What do you want to be when you grow up? And the student simply replied, happy. Teacher said, I don't think you understand the question. And the kid responded, lady, I don't think you understand life. But that is my answer now for what I want to be when I grow up, and my hope for you when you grow up. I want to be, and I want you to be, happy, fulfilled. Happiness isn't about your circumstance, your bank account, your title, what has or has not happened to you. Happiness is not about perfection. It's about your perspective. I've worked with a lot of people over the years and seen thousands of teenagers work their way through high school and continue on searching for that happiness and fulfillment. I've found that after high school, many will try to hold on to the identity of what was as they search for happiness. Memories are great, and there's nothing better than connecting and remembering the great times, but your identity cannot remain what was. I've found that those individuals are often discouraged and frustrated, either because their what was memories aren't that great, or their current life never measures up to what was. Instead, I challenge the class of 19 to focus on what could be. People who have that perspective and look at their future as opportunity are the difference makers, the builders. They are the ones that find the fulfillment, joy, and happiness that we all seek. That is what I see when I look at the class of 2019. You have demonstrated a perspective that has allowed you to come together to overcome adversity and focus on what really matters. In preparing for this and thinking about the class of 2019 and the year and your perseverance, and I couldn't get a song out of my head. It's The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel. It's a little before your time, released in 1970. Relax, that's a little before my time too. One of my favorite verses for that song, for a variety of reasons, contains the following lyrics. In the clearing stands a boxer, a fighter by his trade, and he carries the reminders of every glove that laid him down or cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, I am leaving. But the fighter still remains. If I know one thing about the class of 2019, it's a reminder that no one fights alone. I'm sure there were times that many of you this year thought, for a variety of reasons, it's just too much, or I just can't do it. But you remained. You got back up. When you persevere and overcome obstacles, you learn resilience, you develop character. When you have that character, you have hope. Hope that you can make the most of each of your situations and handle whatever life hands you. I've seen that resilient spirit in the class of 2019. And because of that spirit, we had so many accomplishments and great successes this year. Athletic teams that accomplished historic milestones. Collectively, you've earned over $16 million in scholarships. You helped raise over $26,000 for cancer research, inspiring my new fancy haircut. You demonstrated unrivaled and an award-winning school spirit. You have to understand this. We receive many emails and phone calls from people in Fort Collins, people around the state, who reach out just to tell us there's just something different about Lobos. How you compete in events or support each other in the crowd, or just how you were when they ran across you in the community or at school. Please hear that. There is just something different about Lobos. I believe it's the Lobo way. And I thank you for reminding me that the future is bright, because the class of 2019 is ready to step into the real world and start ushering in the positive change we so desperately need. This is all a group effort. I've seen our staff rise up through their own adversity and lead you to places you may have not thought possible. They had enough fuel in the tank to take you beyond the curriculum into lessons on PAC principles, character, and giving back. I know that many of you have accomplished great things while in high school, but going forward, I want you to do better than great. I want you to do good. You have within you the capacity to be cultural influencers, community changers, and you have demonstrated the resilience to remain and to overcome obstacles, and that will serve you very well as you attempt to discern what you want to be when you grow up, hopefully happy and living a life of fulfillment. And we sincerely thank all of you for allowing us to be part of your journey here at Rocky. Remember who you are. You will always be Lobos, and we will always be here for you. I am very proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2019. Thank you. At this point, I would like to take a moment and recognize some groups that accomplished much during their time at Rocky. Our Honor Cord is given to students that completed their 4 years at Rocky with a 3.75 GPA or higher. Can I have all 125 Honor Cord and Honor Stool recipients please stand and be recognized for your commitment to your academics? We have many students that have received scholarships for academics, service, athletics, performing arts, character, leadership. Can I have all our scholarship winners totaling a Rocky record $16+ million please stand and be recognized? This year alone, Rocky has earned over 5,000 college credits, saving over $1 million in college tuition. Can I have all the students that earn some type of college credit through AP testing, CU Succeed, Front Range, Ames, CSU, while at Rocky, please stand and be recognized? We have multiple honor societies. Please stand if you're a member of National Technical Honor Society, National Honor Society, National Arts Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, Tri-M. Help me recognize these students for combining their academics with service. At Rocky, we pride ourselves in being others-focused, stressing the importance of service and the impact it can have on a greater community, and the impact it can have on ourselves. 4 years ago, when you walked in on day one into the building with the Link Crew leaders, I asked you a question. I challenged you to show me with a hand all who planned on making a difference during your time at Rocky. either within our walls or out in the community, before you even knew about opportunities like Adopt a Family, different fundraisers, etc. Well, here we are in front of a few thousand of our closest friends and family. Let's see how you did. Can I have all of our seniors that felt like they made a difference during their time at Rocky Mountain High School please stand and be recognized? That is awesome. That is who we are. That, what you see, is the Lobo way. We have very talented and compassionate students, but we also have incredibly supportive and passionate staff that committed themselves every day to make sure our students had every opportunity afforded to them. Can I have the staff of Rocky Mountain High School in attendance here today please stand and be recognized? At this time, it is my privilege to recognize the valedictorians and salutatorians for the class of 2019. As you note in your graduation program, 125 of our 468 graduating students earned an honor cord for having a GPA over 3.75. Of these 125, 55 of them had a GPA over 4.0. Valedictorians and salutatorians are determined by calculating the highest adjusted grade point average earned by our students, utilizing additional grade points for advanced placement courses. As I call your name, please come forward to accept your medal from your senior class sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2019 salutatorian with a GPA of 4.179 is Annalise Kalmbach. And our 2019 valedictorian, we have a tie. We're not going to break this tie. I will read them individually as to honor them both. Our 2019 valedictorian with a GPA of 4.18, Alyssa Blomberg. And our 2019 valedictorian with a GPA of 4.18 is Abigail Roberts. There is one final group I would like to honor on this Memorial Day weekend. Could I have all the seniors that are planning on entering the military or heading into a military academy please stand, and can I ask any current or retired military in the audience or on stage to please stand as well to be recognized for your service. Thank you to all of you for reminding us that we are the home of the free because of the brave. Now it is my honor to introduce our senior class president, Quinn McGonigal.
All right, good morning, everybody. When I see myself up there, I think my mom was right when she told me I should have got a haircut. Good morning, class of 2019, family, friends, and everyone else in attendance who has helped us reach this day. I would like to thank everyone for being here and for having an impact on my peers and myself over these past 4 years. A lot of crazy stuff has happened while we've been in high school. I mean, back when we started, Harambe was still kicking it at the Cincinnati Zoo. Shortly after his untimely passing, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Since then, we've had a presidential election, the rise and fall of fidget spinners, and most recently, me and my boys got famous on TikTok. We really had the horses in the back there. Now, on a more serious note, it can be kind of crazy to look back and see how things have changed in our lives since we began our journey at Rocky Mountain High School. Whether it's for better or for worse, no one sitting in these chairs in front of me is the same person today that they were 4 years ago. We have all matured with time, challenging ourselves and meeting new friends along the way. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest, it's my personal belief that celebrating graduation itself is a bit silly, for the diploma isn't terribly difficult to obtain. Any one of us could have registered for the easiest classes, just showed up, put in some headphones, paid minimal attention, and got passing grades. No, what I think we should be celebrating is what we have done to be here, who we have become as a part of this process, and the ways we have impacted the people around us. Every one of you sitting here in your caps and gowns has worked hard to get to where you are today. All of you have had a large influence on the people around you, as have your peers on you. These influences have guided the decisions we have made and shaped us to become the young men and women that we are today. That is what I believe warrants a true celebration. As we take this next weekend to say goodbye to high school and to embrace the rest of our lives, I'd like to paraphrase an excerpt from Gwen Stacy. I know that we all think we're immortal. We're supposed to feel that way. We're graduating. The future is and should be bright, but like our brief 4 years in high school, what makes life valuable is that it doesn't last forever. What makes it precious is that it ends. We know that now more than ever. And I say it today, of all days, to remind us that time is luck. So don't waste it living someone else's life. Make yours count for something. Fight for what matters to you, no matter what. Because even if you fall short, what better way is there to live? It's easy to feel hopeful on a beautiful day like today, but there will be dark days ahead of us too. And there will be days where you feel all alone, and that's when hope is needed the most. No matter how buried it gets or lost you feel, you must promise that you will hold on to hope. Keep it alive. We have to be greater than what we suffer. My wish for you is to become hope. People need that. And even if we fail, what better way is there to live? As we look around here today and see all the people who helped make us who we are, I know it feels like we're saying goodbye, but we will carry a piece of each other into everything we do next to remind us of who we are and who we're meant to be. I've had a great 4 years with you, and I'll miss you all very much. With that, I would like to introduce Tessa Barker and Addie Becker as they sing Rivers and Roads. Thank you.
Just as well. Oh, I miss your face like hell. Oh, 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 oh. Been talking about the way things change. My family lives in a different state. If you don't know what to make of this, then we will not relate. And if you don't know what to make of this, then we will not relate. rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you.
Thank you, Tessa and Addie. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Kurt Knierim.
Hey, everybody. This is so much fun. Thanks, Addie and Tessa. That was amazing. So, good morning, everybody. It's time for graduation. This is fantastic. It is an honor to get to speak with you this morning. Thanks for the privilege to give you your last lecture. In the months since I was selected to speak by you all, I had lots of suggestions for what to say and what to do, and so I just want to let you know some of those things. So the first one was do all my presidential impressions. So I want to make one thing perfectly clear: I'm not going to do that. Second thing was wear your Civil War uniform. Didn't do that. Almost. It was close. Do a front handspring. No. Bring a visual aid. Break out one or both of your noises. And finally, just show your tattoos and sit down. No, not going to happen. Sorry. So needless to say, I've chosen a different path. And on a more serious note, I want to begin by acknowledging the tremendous amount of loss we as a Rocky community have shared and endured over the past year. I'm still grieving every one of these losses, as I'm sure you are. And know that just because you are graduating does not mean that your Rocky family of support disappears. I, as well as so many others, are here for you. What I have decided to share with you this morning is a story. As with all stories, there may be some embellishment here and there, but the important parts are true. Back in February, early on a Saturday morning, I began driving to my favorite place to ski, as well as just one of my favorite places on the planet, Steamboat. Like Steamboat? Yeah? Yeah? The morning was nose-tingle crisp as I drove my sometimes protesting old Jeep over Cameron Pass and descended into that metropolis of Walden. The sun began to rise as I turned onto Highway 40 from 14 and headed over Rabbit Ears Pass down into Steamboat. I parked in the lower ski lot because it's free. I am a public school teacher after all. Unloaded my gear, hopped on the shuttle, and headed up the mountain to the gondola. All the while, I was thinking about what I would say this morning. I took a few runs, but the more I skied, the more I realized I just needed to sit down and think more about what I was going to share with you. This is the last lecture that you will hear in high school, the last time we will all be together, so no pressure there. Nothing profound or memorable came to mind. It was then I remembered my dear old friend, a former professor and mentor of mine, Dr. Bob. I had not seen him in a few years, but had spent hours discussing life with him in the past. As a younger man, I would often visit him for conversation and life advice, so I worked my way down to the base of the ski area and took the shuttle bus back to my Jeep. I loaded up my gear and headed through town, past all the t-shirt shops and restaurants, turned right on 11th Street past one of my favorite places, the Creekside Cafe. Perhaps you've eaten there. From there, I had to feel my way to Dr. Bob's cabin. The directions always confuse Siri, and I'm not even sure he has a formal address. In the old days, Dr. Bob would just meet me at Creekside and take me from there. As I was just about to give up on this spur-of-the-moment notion, I found the little pull-off with a familiar old mailbox that looked just like it had the last time I had visited, like it would fall over if anyone touched it. I parked at the pull-off and made my way along the snow-packed path toward the front porch of the old log cabin that Dr. Bob called home. As I was approaching, I heard the familiar harumph of Dr. Bob's old Irish setter, Rusty. Rusty had been around as long as I could remember, but since I had seen him last, his muzzle had turned almost completely gray, and I noticed that his gait was a bit labored with arthritis. Despite this, he welcomed me enthusiastically with his propeller-like tail and accompanied me the 20 yards or so up the porch and to the front door. Before I could even knock, there was a creak of the screen and the familiar greeting of, "Well, Kurt, what brings you to Steamboat?" We greeted each other with an embrace, and Dr. Bob invited me into his rather disheveled but cozy abode, a fire burning warmly in the fireplace. As he had done so many times, he offered me a seat in a worn, overstuffed chair near the fireplace and said, "Let me make you some hot chocolate." You have to understand that Dr. Bob's hot chocolate is not the hot water mix in a packet of powder type, but a real simmered on the stove milk, chocolate, and sugar type that I could get nowhere else. As the milk was warming on the stove, Dr. Bob came over, sat in the other overstuffed chair, and faced me. He looked past my gaze straight into my soul and said, "How are you? It's been a while." I apologized that it had been so long, updated him on what my family was up to, and then told him that I needed ideas for a graduation speech. He looked at me and said, "Oh, that's an easy one. As a parent of 2 graduating seniors, what do you hope you have taught them as their dad?" Before I could begin to answer, Dr. Bob was up tending to the hot chocolate on the stove. I thought about it a minute and said to him, "I would hope that I have taught them to love others and love themselves." As he returned from the stove with 2 mugs of steaming hot chocolate, the visual aid, he said, "That's great, but pretty vague. How much time do you have to speak?" I said, "About 10 minutes. He looked over at me and looked over his hot chocolate and said, "You'd better get right to it then. What is the hardest thing about loving others?" I thought for a moment and then I replied, "I suppose it would be forgiveness." "Why is that so hard?" he asked, probing for a deeper answer. "Do you think I should get this personal with the graduation speech?" I asked, half hoping he would let me off the hook and take me into more shallow philosophical waters. He just looked up at me with his kind but piercing eyes, and I knew his answer. "I suppose forgiveness is hard because I am prideful and I don't see the bigger picture. It is easier for me to be right in my own mind than put aside my pride and mend a relationship." Dr. Bob took a sip of his hot chocolate and said, "That's good. What else does forgiveness do?" I really didn't like being pressed like this, but Dr. Bob had a way of asking questions that made it not feel so terrible. I thought for a moment about the relationships in my own life and finally said, "Forgiveness honors the other person and begins to rebuild what has been broken." "And that's important?" he asked as he leaned over and took a fresh log from the pile next to the top of his chair and tossed it on the embers in the fireplace. "Yes," I said. "We only have a little bit of time on this earth. Why not work to strengthen and build as many friendships as possible?" He blew the wisp of steam rising up from his mug and said, There's a lot more to unpack there, but since you only have 10 minutes, what else have you tried to teach your children about loving themselves and others? I thought for a minute as I took a couple sips from my now drinkable hot chocolate and said, I often try to encourage my kids to be honest no matter the cost. At this point, Dr. Bob asked if I would like more hot chocolate and got up, returning with a full steaming mug for both of us. Aren't there times when we need to be judicious about our honesty, he asked. I think the way that we are honest needs to be filled with kindness, but I do not believe that we should shy away from honesty. But isn't honesty a risk? It is a risky thing, I replied, but honesty ultimately helps build relationships and people. How so? He said once again, goading me to dig deeper. Throughout my life, when my friends have been honest with me, I always grow from it, even if what they have to say is upsetting at the time. I want to continually grow as a person, and I want that for my kids as well. You could spend more than your entire speech talking about that, I'm sure, Dr. Bob said, gently pulling me back from deeper reflection. You should really have 3 points like a good old Presbyterian sermon, he said, his face crinkling like a happy wad of tissue paper. What is one more thing you want Megan and Ethan to take with them as they start the next chapter of their lives? I thought for a minute, taking a couple sips from the rich brown liquid in my mug, feeling it warm my insides and land gently in my stomach. They should take care of themselves, I finally reflected. What does that mean? Dr. Bob queried. I looked down at my steaming mug and said, if my mug is full, I am able to share hot chocolate with others. But if my cup is empty, I have nothing to give. Dr. Bob looked at me quizzically and said, you mean you want me to refill your mug? You just could have asked. We both laughed, and I explained that if we do not do those things in our lives that fill us up, then we are not able to give to others. It was about this point that I realized our conversation had lasted much longer than I had anticipated, and that I'd better get on the road for the 3-hour drive back to Fort Collins. I let Dr. Bob know that I needed to leave, and gracious as he always was, he said, your speech is going to be just fine. With that, he gave his knee a little slap, stood up from the chair that had enveloped him during our conversation, and ushered me to the door. Our movement woke Rusty, who moved with anticipation toward us to offer his farewell. We embraced goodbye, and I promised that I would bring my family with me to visit the next time we found ourselves on Steamboat. As I drove back over the pass and stopped for gas and a snack in Walden, I reflected on the wonderful conversation I had just had. It made my heart glad that I had taken the time to build this relationship with Dr. Bob. As I arrived back home around dinner time, my wonderful spouse Barb asked how the day went. I related to her all that had happened, and she agreed that it was a pretty good day of skiing. So to close, here's my speech. Forgive, be honest, and do those things that fill you up so you can give to others. I love you all, and I will miss you as we close this chapter. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Kinnear, for our final lecture. I thoroughly enjoyed the visual prop. Now, if you guys could help welcome Lizzie Nastu, Michael Tucci, and Chloe Bird as they perform the Songs for the Seekers.
everyone. So for the end of the year, we thought this song was going to be a really good message because it's all about finding happiness and love within yourself instead of looking for it around you.
It ain't in my hands, it ain't in my feet, it ain't no treasure chest swallowed right by the sea. It ain't in my mind,
It ain't in my mind.
it ain't in my dreams,
It ain't in my
it
dreams.
ain't in the birds who are always singing with the deer. It ain't in my eyes,
It ain't in my eyes.
it ain't in my ears,
It ain't in my
it
ears.
ain't in the statues that were built on sweat and tears. It ain't in my heart,
It ain't in my heart.
it ain't in my soul,
It ain't in my soul.
it ain't in the mountaintop we heard was filled with gold. It ain't in the ground, it ain't in the trees,
It ain't in the castle on the hill. It ain't in the leaves.
oh, it ain't in the fire,
It ain't in the rain.
it ain't in the summer greens you feel on your face.
Whoa.
It ain't in the sun, it ain't in the moon, it ain't in the silver linings made for me and you. Oh.
Thank you to Quinn, Mr. Knierim, for your words, for Tessa, Addie, Chloe, Lizzie, and Michael for their beautiful songs. Dr. Sanders Smizer and the Distinguished Board of Education, I certify that these students have met the requirements for graduation, and it is with great honor and joy that I present to you the class of 2019.
Congratulations. You did it. I am so happy for you. You have completed high school forever. You're done. On Tuesday morning, you will not be going to class. So now, what are you going to do? What is next for you? I'm pretty sure you've spent some time thinking about it. I know you've made plans for work, for more school and training, for taking classes, maybe for some travel or relaxing, and hopefully spending time with friends. At some point very soon, it's really going to sink in that high school is now behind you and the rest of your life awaits. In a few moments, you will hold a high school diploma. One of these diplomas has your name on it. It is a requirement for a lot of jobs. For example, you must have a high school diploma or a GED to be a TSA agent or a bank teller, or simply to enroll in courses to pursue many careers. As a high school graduate, you are about to hold in your hand the key to your future. So congratulations. I have been so impressed by you. I'm not the one who sees you at your worst days, or your laziest days, or your bad days. I see you as you perform, as you compete, as you win awards, and now I get to see you as you graduate. Today, we all see you in all your glory, successful and happy. Today, you join the adults in the room. You are now one of us, and I want to be the first to say, welcome. We need you, and you need us. We need you to give us hope for the future, to energize us, to bring your talents and enthusiasm to bear on whatever you choose to do. These are interesting times, and we don't all agree with each other. Some days it feels like on much of anything. But I am positive that today we all agree with each other on one thing. These graduates are fantastic. Agreed? We have all been enthused by your enthusiasm. We have been amazed by your thinking and your talents and your perspectives, and we've been energized by your energy. We have experiences that you don't have, and you have a perspective of the future that we all need. Over the next few short decades, you will be the leaders at work. You will be the politicians and the writers and the builders and the artists. You will be the park managers and the biochemists and the network security experts and the teachers. You will be the bus driver taking home a bus full of kindergarten students, most of whom have fallen asleep on the way home. We ask you to bring your greatness to whatever you choose, whatever path you are on. Bring the world your enthusiasm, your thinking, your talents, and your perspectives. Bring us the best of your humanity. If you do happen to become a TSA agent, be the helpful, kind one who is so nice to the parent with a screaming baby. We have seen how you've cared for others, how you've worked for causes that you care about. You've thought deeply about the problems of the world, and you've also stopped to pick up a piece of trash that fell out of your car when you opened the door. You've shown by your actions that you have the capacity and the passion to be focused on others and on solving big world problems. So thanks for all those things you've done for others, and thanks for what you are about to do. We all wish you the best of the best. Joy and friendship, success and love, affection, and maybe a dog. We want the best for you, and we are so proud of you. Congratulations. Graduates, please rise. Principal Woodall, I'm honored to accept the 2019 graduates of Rocky Mountain High School. President Fevra, as Superintendent of Poudre School District, I now present to you the Rocky Mountain High School class of 2019.
Thank you, Dr. Smizer. As president of the Poudre School District Board of Education and on behalf of the entire Board of Education, I confer diplomas to you, the graduates of Rocky Mountain High School, class of 2019. Congratulations.
Class of 2019, let's do this. Tori Ann Wolf. Margaret Stella Cronin-Smith. Sadie Marie Hemmett. Quinn Patrick McGonigal. Cora Rose Emsley. Lauren Elizabeth Axe. Sydney Elizabeth Swan. Kayla Shea Reynolds. Jordan Richard Bird. Bryce Patricia Cody. Oswin Kyle O. Caleb Joshua Cruz. Caden Ayota Rickett. Natalie Jean Feist. Alyssa Jalen Blumberg. Ashlyn Michelle Anderson. Abigail Susanna Roberts. Libby Prudence Truitt. Annalise Marie Kalmbach. Jaden Elizabeth Osborne. Ireland Marie Peters. Annika Paige Larson. Apriel Deowache Sovala. Kylie Ann Weaver. Evan James Diana. Ja'Cory Joseph James Wood. Caitlin Elizabeth Thomas. Sheridan Mackenzie Nichols. Julia May Schlepp. Adamir Dionisio Velez Smith. William Tashitaka Yurmocha. Ashley Michelle Veabo. Yamale Fuentes Castillo. Yasmin Asama Sawala. Jericho Tobias Rogers. Grant William Hoffman. Jaden Ray Lucero. Cameron James Porsche. Amanda Jane Hawley. Andrew John Mosbar. Gabriel Declan Christensen. Ryan Logan Heine. Joseph Lawrence Tavares. Braden Robert Lott. Olivia Lind Tufty. Jose David Gomez Betancourt. Abigail Marie Bruce. Jillian Dawes Welch. Trent Vidal Martinez. Madison Rose Hand. Frank Richard Wright. Hayden Stephen Henkel. Gabrielle Ann Jordan. Sydney Mayava. Lillian Hagan Carmichael. Angelo Cross Vitano. Fiona Rose Nelson. Aaron Andrew Plusa. Israel Don Elsnick. Alexis Faith Hall. Laurel Michelle Lenzinski. Sorry. Samantha K. Stewart. Jeremiah James Woolenweber. Thomas Henry Seelmile. Haley Nicole Scheffler. Joshua Thomas Bush. Logan Charles Randall. Dawson Joseph Otto. Quinn Husted. Abigail Rose Lockery. Alice Marie DeHerter. Miles Camille Hilbert. Michael Anthony Napier. Georgia Brooke Padilla. Ernesto Armando Martinez. Elena Marie Fleischman. Mason Alexander Mollenauer. Braden Stephen Balmer. Joanna Saray Mendoza Ojoa. Michael James Tucci. Emma Rose Mackey. Seth Edward Bass. Savannah Ray Roden. Jordan Mark Muth. Emma Catherine Warning. Zachara Neil Aweda. Madeline Winters Copsel. Maisie Ellen Fox. Aspen Kasha Cross. Victoria Joy Dantas. Molly Ann Wilburton. Station Bailey Charters. Michaela Marie Aker. Louis Dale Puckett. Barrett Ryan Fitch. Jaden Kale Sachs. Colton Reed Barker. Tyler James Fisher. Bella Alicia Navarez. Michaela Inez Margaret Gonzalez. Megan Claire McDonald. Kalani Knight Cobb. Preston Kyle Huck. Haley Ann Samsel.
Jordan Derek Jamerson. Megan Emily Knierim. Ethan Scott Holcroft. Ethan Miles Knierim. Carissa Luella Kelly. Donovan Anthony Roman. Julian Vicio Bonias. Kelly Inez Justice. Rihanna May Jones. Bradley Jason Selvage. Sydney L. Olson. Bryson James Reber. Mallory May Acott. Josie Anna Whittom. Kiara Isabel Gray. Luke Harold Talby. Jacob Richard Gallahan. Jackson Virgil Robert Reeve. Ariel Nicole Farinelli. Harry Nicholas Yoxel. Jameson Robert White. Alexis G. Lamas. James Carl Runge. Remington Hunter Smith. Catherine Elizabeth Vandermeer. Juliana Rebecca Macchietto. Joshua Christopher Schell. Tessa Claire Barker. Hope Nicole Tharp. Andrew John Van Hofwegen. DeAndre Stephen Tanner. Leah Marie McDowell. Kayla Elizabeth Cantwell. Brianne Josephine Campos. Reagan Lee Rademacher. Anna Marie Rankin Wells. Mason Lee Unger. Tony Wan. Sorry, Tony. Michaela Donnell Kendall. Hunter Thomas Seymour. Noe Rafael Munguia. Yadira Elizabeth Aguilera Lopez. Abby Lila Cho. Hayden Mitchell Sanchez. Mackenzie Marie Shanley. Miriam Taufik Abolel. Kevin Zhu. Levi Jacob Hockeyes. Cami Joe Farmer. Caleb William Schmitz. Chloe Marie Corbin. Audrey Evelyn Caroline Vance. Logan Paul O'Connell. Cameron Brian Olver. Calvin Richard Brandel. Adeline Grace Becker. Colton Dean Riggs. Max James Hand. Sydney Rebecca Roscoe. Jared Marcus Seen. Christopher John Hendry. Oscar Eduardo Valdez Mendina. Emily Grace Boyles. Sean Alexander Savala. Hannah Olivia Strawman. Patrick William O'Brien. Lucas Adams Stuckert. Joshua Alexander Rodriguez Jr. Anna Marie Layton Dodson. Vincent Michael Nicholson. Jade Reagan Vandal. Jake Nelson Organ. James Michael East. Emily Rose Gumpenberger. Alexander Frederick Schlosser. Luke Alexander Cunning. Lauren Elizabeth Thompson. Vaughn Thomas March.
Brendan James Harris. Chloe Cochran Burrid. Marcus Garrett Lasco. Samantha Marie Radke. Riley Jane Phipps. Isabel Gabriela Grant. Luke Thomas Crawford. Connor Joseph Colhane. Seneca Tavion DeVol Williams. Aaron Bear Biggerstaff. Felicity Ray Day. Zach Montaigne Leathers. Ilaria Suzanne Fezzi. Alexander Francisco Martinez. Emily Catherine Boyle. David Fraser Sunstead. Veronica Barajas. Taylor Ann Wandas. Sarah Helen Evans. Sawyer Levinson Cruz. Rebecca Lynn Griffith. Cody Lane Howell. Brecken Lynn Jennings. Hunter Stephen Newton. Caitlin Marie Genshorek. Neil William David. Nicole Vassaux. Elizabeth Mary Nastu. Calvin Thomas Miller. Tanner Jean Parsons. Maya Caradwin D'Amico. Maria del Rosario Sandoval Escobar. Emma Jane Mackelberg. Jacob William Sherman. Ashley Nicole Lee Zachman. Jared Michael Henderson. Cassandra Rochelle Escamilla. Hazel Renee Houston Brownlee. Krista Ashlyn Cotier. Dane Michael Paul Sanford. Robbie Matthew Holland. Jason Anthony Sigda. Fiona Winter Oliver. Annalise Marie Emerson. William Stone Probst. Joseph Thaddeus Uranowitz. Jaden Ash Dinwiddie. Alicia Ray Butke. Annabelle Morgan Graham. Miles Asbury Stevenson. Jaden Chance Rivera. Benjamin Ernesto Gonzalez. Jordan Daniel Yancey. Esme Happy Holden. Nathaniel Ryan Stutzman. Taryn Brooke Smith. Alex Emmanuel Martin. Keyshawn Yuland Lyons Smith. Hayden James Steffens. Dalton James Schroeder. Alexandra Lynn McMahon. Lily Margaret Barrett. Jennifer Mitchell. Chloe Grace Eberl. Kaylee Morgan Kopp. Mason William Bartran. Dylan Patrick McGee. Cody Lynn Sexton. April Marissa Kinney. Jordan Dean Nicholson. Marta Elizabeth Fisher. Timothy Edward Padawaran. Jenna Violet Griffin. Trinity Paige Salazar. Michael Anthony Gallegos Jr. Mickey Dalton Geller. Beatrice Starr Ashcraft. Maxwell Anthony Azule.
Luke Thomas Brewer. Cassidy Elizabeth Hicks. Malak Mufta Shaush. Uma Zoe Dissy. Christopher Logan Andrews. Nathaniel David Langfeld. Daniel Andre Murchison. Michael Christopher Proetti. Brooke Ann Nicolai. Daniel Clyde Webster. Rachel Yolanda Alicea. Karina Jane Doctor. Thomas Cortez Buckner. Anna Pauline Krieger. Jeremy Thomas Reed. Joshua Alexander Gillespie. Madeline Rose Kuhn. Ryan Matthew Miller. Madison Lynn Seidel. Jacob Brian Peterson. Ryler Seth Runyon. Olivia Victoria Valdez. Anna Morgan Holland. Eduardo Molinari. Umberto Damian. Dominic Ward Jansen. Jack Ryan Miller. Olivia Ryan Fondy. Aiden Manuel Medina. Brenly Janae Hammer. Tyler Tao Campbell. Sarah Locke Ely. Jennifer Kaur Johar. Jacob Ross Bennett. Ella Rose Martinez. Morgan Haley Karen. Jordan MacArthur Price. Jayla May Seymour. Emily Rose Neesant. Alexander Raymond Haynes. Sarah Allison Jansbury. Peter Pisey Swanson. Isaac Daniel Lepp. Karina Rose Benjamin. Sonora Rubania Aspen Holloway. Forrest Kent Smith. Lacey Jordan Cruikshank. Evan Dolliver Gerard. Samantha Nicole New. Shayla Jolie. Kaylee Danae Woodall. Natalie Ann Ford. Nicholas Ray Schulte. Caitlin Beth Buchanan. Reagan Johanna Elshoff. Alan Andy Patricio Isadora. Maya Ray Rogers. Grace Jean Karsrud. Jacob Andrew Brewer. Duncan Lawrence Havenga. Emily Rose Huff. Ta Chin Sung. Sinclair Scott Hall. Lydia Renee Dostal. Aspen Rose Georgian. Emily Margaret McDowell. Mia Nicole Stolpe. Desiree June Minkle. Delaney Ann Kress. Ian Levi Patterson. Alexis Danielle Kropp. Bethany Isabel Rush. Kaylee Lorene Hedman. Tristan Patrick Laborde. Erin Nicole Hutchison. Jillian Nereda Lopez. Hayden Blues Osterland.
Jeffrey Kabori Reich. Catherine Alexandra Brewster Bowes. Jada Reese Wheeler. Aspen Graham. Jenna Joy Tim. Benjamin Dolph Davis. Tyrese Lee Adler. Dalton Cole Axley. Adrian Daniel Foles. Carolyn Kennedy Morris. Jacqueline Marie Swigris. Ella Grace Penner. Abby Noel Hartman. Nevea Rain Ironcloud. Marley Kathleen Horn. Stanley Jean Giambra. Jacob Clark Chalkins. Jackson Edwin Swain. Alexandra Ann Engelhart. Hayden Lee Fry. Levi Colton Deschler. Milo McCoy Wolf Woodward. Jared Evan Buderis. Bo Jordan Vanderslies. Allison Rebecca Zapp. Joining us online from Children's Hospital with his family, Carter Mickey Edgerly. Caitlin May Pryor. Ashley Nicole Owita. Trevor Michael Hash. Thomas Jacob Cheshire. Jordan Ray Myers. Nathaniel Richard Chiano. Max Carter Cook. Tegan William Mays. Reagan Key Osler. Alyssa Marie Acevedo. Christopher Eddie Corpenning. Madeline Carly Pittman. Michael Araguin. Angel Gustavo Guerrero. Casey Ryan Carnes. Trey Jackson Chudikoff. Elena Marie Corsa. Avery Luis Aragon. Andrew James Klussman. Grayman Adrian Nina. Benjamin Lewis Thompson. Aaron James Schaefer. Colton Matthew Weaver. Wyatt Patrick Rocky. Madison Taylor Burt. Taines Allen Horner. Michaela Elizabeth Rowe. Jared Rangel. Trinity Allura Phillips. Bethany Rose Johnson. Cody Michael Milan. Cameron Greer Morangello. Aaron Bailey Harders. Sherilyn Rose Hone. Erica Itzel Ramos Garcia. Jordan Taylor Daly. James Reed Colwell. Wesley Paul Thompson. Cassidy Joe Owita. Kendall Nicole Wagner. Christian Bradley Smith. Emily Sohn. Emery Nicole Vischer. Anais Isabel Mercado Perez. Sloan Avery Holland. Chalice Annapurna Michael. Campbell Denise Fix. Kiana Nicole Keller. Emma Lauren Smith. Madison Claire Erskine. Kevin Felton McLean. Please give a round of applause for our Rocky Mountain High School graduates.
You guys are awesome. Hope you know that. Will the class of 2019 and faculty please stand? It is my honor to introduce to you the torchbearer for the class of 2019, C.J. Henry.
To a close, we stand in the presence of all as alumni of Rocky Mountain High School. She is our kindly mother, our alma mater, and we, her cherished sons and daughters. This commencement exercise does not mean, as many wrongly think, the breaking of ties and the beginning of a life apart. Instead, it marks our initiation into the fellowship of adulthood. As holders of her diploma, we represent to the world the bearers of her message and the promoters of her spirit. Rocky Mountain High School is not a campus, nor its buildings, not the faculty, not the students at any one time, not one of these or all of these. Rocky consists of all who come into and go forth from her halls, who are touched by her influence, and who leave her with hopes and dreams. What this high school proposes to be, what it must always strive to be, is represented by the hood and I wear, the symbolic torch I carry on behalf of all of us. If its imaginary flame burns in us and from us, who can measure our power to illuminate the darkness? We go forth from Rocky Mountain today, but with her torch and our memories, we shall ever be a part of her. As I look in front of me right now, I see hundreds of young adults eager to open the next chapter of their lives. Some of you are nervous, some scared, and many excited. Regardless of what you are feeling right now, I want all of you to take a deep breath. I want you to take a moment to feel the air fill your lungs, to remind yourself that this moment did not happen by coincidence. You are all sitting here today for one reason. Yes, you got the right grades and you took the right classes, but that is not what I'm talking about. All of you are here because of change. In the short span of 4 years, I have had the privilege of growing alongside the class of 2019. I think back to our freshman selves, and it's hard to believe that here we are, on the other side, completely different people. We have changed so much that thinking about it makes my head spin. Every change has led you to be sitting where you are right now. We are not the same people that we were 4 years ago, and we are even further from the people that we were 10 years ago. You're here today because you allowed yourself the freedom to change. You challenged yourself to grow through hardships and pain, but also through tremendous joy and triumph. Change can be scary, and I applaud all of you for embracing these changes and ending up here today. Think, if you stopped changing and challenging yourself in, say, 7th grade, you wouldn't be who you are now. You would eternally be your 7th grade self if you didn't allow yourself to change. I believe I can speak for everybody here when I say none of us would choose to be stuck in 7th grade. Just because we are graduating does not mean that we are done growing. Nothing is set in stone. Your career, your path in life, who you fundamentally are, all of these things are subject to change. Do not be afraid to change and evolve. Welcome that change and remember that you can be whoever you want to be. You and you alone are in control of your life and yourself. Live the life that feels the most true to who you are in that moment. Embrace the dynamic nature of the world and of yourself. Never limit yourself, because all of you are capable of so much more than you will ever be able to truly understand. Go out and live, explore, give yourself the freedom to continue to change and grow. Because when I come back to our high school reunion, I want to hear some really great stories. I bid you farewell, but only in the sense that I pray each of you may fare well. God be with you who remain in her keeping, and go with us as we choose our separate challenges. And now, the class of 2019, please turn your tassels.